Hello again. Last time I ordered some fun toys. It's a laser shooting system from GoShot called the VariShot. The box came in, so let's see what's inside and have some fun with it. Okay, first of all, some quick unboxing. The GoShot comes with a nice box. They promised us a nice box, they gave us a nice box. So that's quite fine. When opening, the first thing you see is of course the target. To get it out you need to pull this little string and then it comes out quite easily because it's in there quite firmly, but that's nice. It's better in there firmly than little bumpy rides and shit like that. So whatever, it also comes with the guns, nicely ordered. Adapter only, I think it's a US socket, so not quite usable for Europe, but it's a standard 12 volt adapter, so nothing wrong there. You can get this kind of adapters like anywhere, or you can find yourself a travel adapter to make it a Europe socket, whatever. The ones you like, if it fits you, it fits you. Comes only with the US one, so for me this is trash. Comes with 2 batteries, a little Allen wrench to adjust the sights, and that's quite it for the unboxing. Now let's see what the guns are like. So now first of all I would like to go in some kind of a detail about the guns themselves. Now my first impression was it's really kind of plastic. As you can see, it's a low grade switch, ain't much about it. The laser, it looks like it's misaligned with the body of the gun, but anyway, when I first shot it, it was quite accurate as it came outside of the box. To adjust, you can with the little Allen wrench, you can move it up and downwards according to the manual. I didn't use this because at a short distance, like 3 meters would be like I think 9 foot. It was quite okay. Anyway, don't really like the switch. I think it's gonna break quite fast if you use it a lot, and then when you pull the trigger you get this feeling you really are having some toys in your hand. So okay, even the sound is like annoying. Now anyway, if I have to compare this to a real gun, something like the Glock 19. Now this is a Glock 19. This is a replica, so people from Belgium, I'm not playing with real guns here, so this is a replica BB gun, but it's very close to the real thing. So the first thing I've noticed is the height of the gun. If you can see, the body is really slim of the laser gun. If you take it next to a Glock, so the grip of a Glock, when you're holding it, my finger, my hand will stay in one line. Even when I pull the trigger, you can see my finger stays like in a line with the rest of my hand. So if I do this with this one and I pull my finger, you see it's more up. Now I was always told when I got my gun training to use the tip of my finger to shoot. The most you see them like this and use the middle part, but if you want to shoot accurately, you don't do this. You use the tip of your finger, you squeeze until the second stage. This is called the first stage, and then you squeeze till the second stage, and then you keep on squeezing like you have no idea when the gun goes off, and that's how you pull the trigger. So now again, the first stage and second stage, yeah, it's quite okay. You can feel the difference quite good, and it really pops like a second stage trigger. So if I take this one for example, the Glock, see, it's quite similar. It needs the same force, so quite the force needed to pull the trigger, that's quite accurate. Now the thing that annoys me the most, because of the slim body of this gun, of the laser gun, after shooting, really, especially when I'm doing fast fire on a target, my hand starts cramping up because it's too slim. So when playing the game for quite a time, like 15 minutes in a row, for me my hand starts cramping up. I can shoot this one for hours, no problem. Now that's one of the annoying things. Even more annoying, maybe is the sights. If you look at the sight on the gun, you can see it has yes, it has a little, in Belgium we call it Cape Coral. In English anyway, the one on the front has a little hole, the one in the back has a little hole. I have no idea where they came up with this. If you look at a gun like the Glock, like this one, you can see the little upside breech, a little point, and that's how you shoot. This is how you aim. You try to bring it in line, and you have still a nice view of everything around you. So this is one of the biggest setbacks when I pulled it out, was this kind of sight. Never saw it before on guns. I'm not really a specialist, but to me this is a no-go. If I would have known this before buying this, I probably wouldn't have bought it. So anyway, not quite fan of the sights. They do work actually. If you try to aim with it, it will work. It gets it on target, but it's not kind of realistic, because when you are aiming with a real gun, I keep my both eyes open. Most people will close one eye, but if you get some training, you will learn how to use a gun, and then you will use it with your both eyes open. And the thing is, you need to see everything around you, be able to react to situations around you. Of course, it's a laser target. We're not trying to shoot some bad guys or whatever, but anyway, for training purposes, real bad sights. So put it all together. The battery compartment, okay, it is what it is. It's all feels like plastic, like a real toy. Doesn't has the quality you would think of for this kind of price range, but it works. The aiming is quite accurate. It's possible to adjust it. On a real Glock, you don't adjust anything, but it's adjustable. It's quite accurate. The first and second stage on the trigger, they do work. The trigger pull is quite fine. The sights are terrible, and that's all what I can say about this. Now, when starting to shoot the targets, it's something totally different. First of all, if you pull a real gun on second stage, the bullet will only fly when the hammer slams the cap on the backside. So the problem with this laser gun is, I'm going to try to, if you look at the table, you can see the little dot of the laser pointer flashing. Now I'm going to do this very slowly and see what happens. Try to take notice that the laser already fires before the click comes. Wow. This is really annoying. The laser should not be firing before the end of the second stage. So I'm still pulling, and the laser, there it was, and then the click comes. So we guys at VariShot or GoShot, you really need to fix this, because this ain't a lot. This is not what we are looking for. The laser should only fire at the moment we pull the trigger completely, and not just before. So that's about the gun, but how does the target work? So at this point I put up the target, gave it some power, and let's start playing. On the bottom left next to the display you have the square that says reset and mode. That's to change the game or reset the game, and on the right side you have the pause and start button. That explains quite enough, I think. So let's start a game. Let's go to the first game. It's also quite fun. You can shoot it to operate and to select everything. You don't need to get up. For the purpose of this test, I put the target into silent mode, just because I really have an annoyance for those beeps. Anyway, let's start this game. Voila, one-on-one. The target is coming up, and you just need to shoot them one by one, and you got 1.5 seconds to shoot them. So anyway, it's a quite easy game. So I'm happy to shoot them all, I think. Yeah, I've got 30 of them. Now sometimes it does happen, I'll try to show you. I'll go to the next game, the one or two. That now you need to shoot 2 targets at the same time, so a little bit more difficult. But what sometimes does happen is the game pauses for some reason. Maybe it will happen now, we'll see. Ooh, I'm on a roll. Okay, as you could see, the previous targets I did shoot them, but they didn't take the hit, and that was because there's a 100 millisecond burst that's coming outside of the laser, and those 100 milliseconds, it seems quite fast, but actually it's not that fast. So the 100 milliseconds need to be on the target the entire time. If you move a little bit, let's say you hit the target at the first impact of the laser, but within those 100 milliseconds you move a little bit and you get outside of the square, it doesn't take the hit. So that's probably why it didn't resist the first, the last hit. So anyway, annoying. Another thing that's annoying, it didn't. This is the third take I'm doing on this video, and the first 2 takes I had this problem when the game suddenly went into pause mode. So I have no idea why it does it sometimes. But well, maybe it happens on the next game. So let's go to the next one. Game number 2. Let's start this one. This one is, I believe, just shoot everything as fast as you can. So it's actually quite a fun game. Now I'm doing this from a distance like 3 meters, would be like 9 foot, I think. So it's quite easy. I just shot it with one hand, not even using the sights, just looking over the barrel, and I can see where the laser has its impact. So it's quite easy to make an eye-hand coordination to adjust. Now anyway, 7.17 seconds. It ain't that slow, I think. So my record is like 4.98. Now it doesn't resist a high score, so next time it doesn't tell you what was the fastest time or anything. It just resets and starts the game again. So like, I do remember now because it was like last week I shot a 4.98, but like any toy I buy, it will end up somewhere collecting dust, and at some point I'm thinking, oh, I still have the VariShot, let's play it again. So, and at that point I have no idea what my high score will be, and I'm way too lazy to keep track of it myself. So let's go to the next game. 305. This actually has 3 parts. Like the first game had 2 parts, it has 3 parts. Now 305 means it's the third game, and the time limit is 5 seconds, and you can go 10 seconds and 15 seconds. For the purpose of this test, I will put it on 15 seconds. And I would also like you to take notice, below the display there will be 3 LEDs, and those give you an indication of time left. So let's start the game. So you just need to shoot the squares, and now every 5 seconds they will disappear a LED on the bottom, as you can see, indicating to you that the time is almost over. Now time's up. I shot 20 targets in like 15 seconds. Now the first time I was playing this game, it was time based. I thought there was something wrong because I was just having fun shooting, and suddenly it just stops and it blinks, but I have no idea why. Now that's the game of telling, the way the game tells you it's actually game over. I think it will be interesting to have a little bit more acknowledgeable game over sign or something. Anyway, at the moment you know it's game over, and it does it in that way, it's okay. But the first time I was really thinking, is something wrong with this? Why does it stop? Why did it? So in the manual there wasn't any indication of how it tells you when the game is over. So when it stops and it blinks, you know it's game over. So let's go to the next game. Game 4, I call this the Tetris game. you will see on the top 4 squares they will turn green, and actually it's like falling blocks, and the whole point of the game is don't let the green ones touch the bottom. So let's start the game. Well, let's do this. Now it starts really slowly. Really slowly. Now again, what's really annoying to me is the fact that the laser fires before the end of the second stage on the trigger. So I really need to watch out with pulling the trigger from first stage to second stage at the point I'm actually want to fire, because if I pull just a little bit too hard, the laser is gone before the click happens. Really annoying. Now at this point I've been playing this game like 10-15 minutes, and I can start feeling my hands cramping up because of what I explained earlier. The body width of the gun is too slim, so my finger starts cramping up. So now at this point I'm even shooting with my left hand and I'm right hand, so I'm sorry if I start missing shit. So it's starting to go a little bit faster, which is nice. At this point I'm still not aiming, I'm just looking at the target. I can see where the laser is hitting the target, and that's enough for me to play the game. At this point I'm losing lives. As you could see, I think you got like 3 green bricks can hit the bottom, and after that it's game over. Again, the game over, the game just stops and it blinks and it's game over. But as you could see on the bottom of the display, I had the 3 LEDs, and I think those were my lives. They're gone now, so it's game over. Next game. Game number 5. Or 501. Again. This game is like don't shoot the red ones. If you shoot the wrong one, it's game over. So my first shot was at the red one. Nice. Let's try it again. So first they gave you 1, then 2, then 3 greens, now 4. Okay, this is quite easy. No red ones. Again, at this point, yeah, it took the red one instead of the green one. It was borderline, but it's again the 100 millisecond burst is coming to play in this game. Anyways, quite a fun game. But yeah, as the VariShot people, they claim to help you improve your shooting skills and things like that, but I really doubt it. The next game is actually for 2 people, so I'll do this test when my partner in crime wakes up, and then let's see how that one works. So I will put this later on in the same video. Also have to do a distance check because they say it goes up to 10 meters, but I don't think that would be in daylight, but we'll see how good it works because it's still a laser and it's affected by ambient light, of course. So let's do the distance check and the dual gun check, and let's see how that works. Now I'm outside for the range test, but actually I was taking some time to set things up. I even drew a screw into my garden house to put up on the target. I measured like 10 meters and anything I needed to make this test successful. But then I said to myself, let's use game number 2 just to have a big target to aim at. Now it's daylight and I want to show you guys something. I was already explaining before, I didn't think it would measure up to 10 meters during daylight because it's still affected by ambient light, but I was not expecting this. As you can see, there's no reaction at all. So at this point, the sound is on from the target, so every time I hit something, it should beep. So even at a range of like 4 centimeters, would be like 2 inches or something, it doesn't do anything. So to make sure there's nothing wrong with the target, because now it has battery power, but it shouldn't make any difference. So when I cover up with my hands to make it a little bit dark, you can see it starts changing. So it has absolutely no use to even start this test from 10 meters if it doesn't even go from 2 inches. Another thing that's quite obvious at this moment, this is a green one, this is a red one, this is a green one, this is a red one. It doesn't have the contrast to use it during daylight. So we're back inside for the final test, the dual test of game number 6. Now, it's quite easy. My partner in crime still hasn't woke up at this point. It's 1:30 p.m. Nice one. Anyway, as you can see, the game just started by itself. Doesn't really matter. It's quite easy. Just try to shoot your targets first. So I'll aim at the green one. At this point, actually, I already won because there were only 2 targets. Now there are some more, and they keep adding up. So I'm going to shoot the green ones again. I win again against the red ones. But here comes the tricky part. I do have 2 guns, but the laser output is exactly the same, so the game doesn't know which gun is shooting. So I'm going to shoot with the first gun I ever used, the green one, and now I'm going to shoot a red one. As you can see, it just shoots them all. It doesn't matter. And as you can see now, as I explained earlier, suddenly the thing goes into pause. So I have to start up again, and I will be using the second gun, but it doesn't really matter because I can shoot as well as the green one as the red ones. So yeah, for the purpose of the game, it doesn't really matter if the guns are exactly the same and the game is not able to see the difference. It doesn't really matter because if I take the green one and my partner takes the red ones, yeah, it's quite easy. I shoot the green ones, he shoots the red ones. The ones who's first wins. If he shoots one of mine, I'm lucky. If I shoot one of his, he's lucky. But maybe for future games or something, it's okay. You have 2 guns, but there's no real. The game isn't able to see the difference between the guns. So this brings me to my final conclusion on the VariShot from GoShot. First of all, the build quality is way too low. The trigger feels like real plastic. It's not wide enough to have a comfortable grip. The switch is quite poor made. Everything is like cheap plastic, to my opinion. Same as a target, built cheap plastic, but it does work. It's a fun game though. Anyway, I'm not going to argue. It's a fun game. It will be hanging on this wall for quite some time, and after that it will end up into my closet as an expensive toy collecting dust. And talk about expensive, I've paid $349 for the perk with the 2 guns, and on top of that was an additionally 40 euros of shipping fees. Okay, shipping fees are part of the game. When you back something, it's okay. And then again, the VAT in Europe, another 96 euros on top of that one. So it was very, very expensive. As we would say, this is something we would buy in fun in Belgium, or maybe like Walmart in the USA. $99, 99 euros. That would be a nice price setting for this type of game. Of course, this means mass production. Anyway, in this setup, it's way too expensive. The outside distance challenge was so poor. It doesn't even work during daylight. Of course, yeah, it's laser, I know, but it's kind of sad. It doesn't daylight. It doesn't work. Simple as that. Maybe into a dark scene when when it's when at night and you're with a campfire. If you can see the pictures on Indiegogo, actually they're using it only during nighttime. Yeah, it probably will work, but again, if the distance would be 10 meters, it would be nice. You would have to be a very good shot to hit a square this size from 10 meters far. So even with a real gun, that would be a nice shot, especially when you are going to do it fast. Anyway, as a dry fire system for professional or hobby shooters, no way. Dry fire system is a system that allows professional or hobby shooters to shoot their own real gun at home without creating holes in their walls, and that would be by lasers. There are a lot of systems on the market that provide special bullets with lasers inside to be fired with real guns, but unfortunately in Europe the laws are quite strict, so you can just go to the Walmart, we don't have a Walmart, whatever, or to the gun store and buy a gun just to buy a gun. You will need, before you can buy a gun, you will need to do a lot of shit to have a permit. So strict gun laws limits the sale of dry fire systems in Europe. Now, I told VariShot about this problem. So what we can buy in Europe are BB guns or airsoft guns. We can buy them over the counter, there's no problem. But because they don't have a firing pin, there's nothing to hit to activate the laser. So I told this to VariShot, and they were thinking about maybe creating a system that would be that you could put on your own replica, your airsoft gun or whatever, to use with targets like these, and that would be very nice, because at this point there ain't a lot of dry fire systems in a normal price range for us Europeans to play with. So that was also the main reason why I bought this. But again, to practice my aiming skills or my shooting or whatever, no, it's just a fun game. So that's my conclusion. It would be a $99 or euro fun game to play with friends and family during meetings or whatever. But it's definitely not up to par if you want to have something to really practice your targeting or your shooting skills. So at that point you failed. The fun part, you really succeeded. Again, we'll be staying up for quite a time, and then we'll end up in the closet collecting dust, as I told you before. See you next time.